and welcome to episode 42 of MSME Masterclass. We are honored to have Mr. Rajiv Thakur, President of Fortran Steel Pvt Ltd, with us today. With over 30 years of extensive experience in marketing, sales, and procurement across India and internationally, Mr. Thakur has held pivotal roles at leading steel giants such as Tata Steel, Bhushan Steel, Welspun, and JSPL. His expertise spans the commercial and operational aspects of the steel industry, with hands-on experience in blast furnace operations, steel making, and finishing mills. A widely traveled professional, Mr. Thakur has gained valuable insights from countries across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Additionally, he has made significant contributions as a visiting faculty member at esteemed institutions, guiding and mentoring the next generation of management professionals. Mr. Thakur's achievements include spearheading the implementation of MySAP CRM at Ispat Industries, revolutionizing sales force automation, customer campaign management, and demand planning processes. He has also led key projects in Zimbabwe and Nigeria, showcasing his exceptional project management skills. We are privileged to learn from such a seasoned expert today. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Rajiv Thakur to our MSME Masterclass. Welcome, sir. We're pleased to have you with us today.
Very good afternoon to you, Amrita. First of all, let me thank you for saying good words about me. I don't know whether the things which you have mentioned about my profile and things like that, I can only tell you that I'm an experienced person and I have learned it. Anybody at my age would learn it, so nothing great about it. I'm still working. I'm 63 plus years old, still working in Fortran Steel as President, Corporate Affairs and Quality Assurance Department.
So, sir, since the topic for today is strategies to overcome steel supply chain challenges, my first question to you is, what are the most common supply chain challenges faced in the steel manufacturing sector in India?
In fact, the topic which you have covered is a very, very pertinent topic in the present day steel industries. The challenges or the faced in the supply chain, basically it starts from the labor. Labor related issues are there, then frequent power outages are there, that insufficient technology adoption is there, and as well as environmental concerns. Since this is basically focused on MSME sector, these are the problems which are being faced by all the MSME sector, say starting from a company of 1 crore size to maybe 500, 600 crore. These are very, very pertinent problems for the MSME sector.
So, sir, how do fluctuations in raw material prices impact the steel supply chain, and what strategies can be adopted to mitigate these effects?
There are various things which really focus on fluctuation of the raw material prices for the impact in the steel company. Global economic condition plays a very vital role. As you know that world is very, very disturbed. It is disturbed because of the Ukraine-Russia war, then the war between Palestine, Hamas and Israel, then unrest in Iran as well as, so it really affects. And these are the countries which are very, very important from the steel industry point of view. So this is a very, very important factor. Another thing is the raw material cost. In case of steel industry per se, the raw material cost plays a very, very important role. You take the example of coal or iron ore or limestone and things like that. If there is any fluctuation or any increase or revision in the price, it directly hits the bottom line of the steel industry. Because for manufacturing 1 ton of steel, we need 700 kg of coal, we need about 1.4 metric ton of iron ore. So you can well imagine the importance of these raw materials in the supply chain and what is their impact also. The another thing is the supply demand. It is very important. I can cite you the example of China. In China, as you know, is producing more than 1 billion metric tons steel per year. Although India is number 2, producing around 141 million tons. So there is a no similarity or there is not little gap between first and second. In China, they used to produce this type of steel about 2 years or 1 year back. Still they are producing more than 1 billion tons. But the demand is very, very important. In China, the real estate sector is in bad shape because lots of steel is being consumed. About, you can say, 40 to 50% of the total steel produced only goes for the rebar production, plus the infrastructure project. So as a result of that, the domestic demand is not very good in China. And as a result of that, they have started exporting the material to other countries. Rather, they are dumping the steel in other countries. India is also one of the countries where they are dumping steel. Another thing is the geopolitical factors. As I have told you about geopolitical factors, the unrest in some countries, then the demand, supply, various reasons. War is there, then economic growth of that particular country, the GDP of that country. So that also plays a very, very important role. If you see European countries, you will find their GDP is, some countries are even in minus. Some are hovering around 2%, 3%, 4%. So if there is not good GDP, that means the development is not up to the mark. That means the infrastructure projects or new projects are not coming up. The burning example is the Europe. But in countries like us, fortunately, we have a very good GDP, which is 8%. Another part which really plays a role is the long-term contract. Long-term contract, it can provide some price stability. Supposingly, I come to you and I say that I need steel 100 metric tons per month. My requirement is 1200 metric tons per month, per year. Why not? We should have a contract. A long-term contract can be two types. One is the allocation. Say you are a steel producer, I request you allocate 1200 metric tons per annum for me. What may comes, you have to supply, whether there is a price fluctuation or not. The another part of long-term contract is that we shall freeze the price in a quarter. Once the quarter is over, the quantity is fixed. I have got the allocation, but I have an assurance for the price also, at least for a quarter. After end of the quarter, we can review it, seeing the market condition and things like that. Then comes diversification of suppliers. That is also very, very important. You cannot put all your eggs in one basket. You will have to have 2, 3 baskets, 4 baskets. So diversification of supplier means sourcing. You are buying raw material from one supplier. That supplier can dictate the terms if there is a great demand or if there is a scarcity of the material. So if you have 3-4 vendors, 3-4 suppliers, obviously that effect will be minimized or will be lessened to that extent. Then comes budget contingencies. The budget contingency is very, very important. Various projects, like big projects, they run in millions and billions. Even a small price increase, say to the extent of $5 or $10, there is going to be a very, very, you can say, a negative impact for the project because there is a cost overrun. Another thing is, which is very important, that you should keep a tab on the market. You should do a regular market analysis. Supposingly, Amrita, if I say that the price is going to increase by $100 from September, then you will think, why not take some more extra material? So what you will do, you will plan your inventory and supply chain accordingly. If you go it other way around, if you are saying that the market condition says that there is going to be a drop of $50 in the price, then also you have to think about your inventory and supply chain plan.
Another question that I wanted to ask you, sir, is about inventory management. What role does it play in overcoming supply chain challenges, and what, according to you, are the best practices one should follow?
The best practice, generally people tend to have a just-in-time inventory. But the point is, in practicality, it is not possible to have just-in-time inventory. You have to have an inventory of at least 1 year. And you will have to plan your inventory in such a fashion that your price should not be higher than your earlier purchase. So you have to be little bit systematic, whereby you can plan your production. Once you plan the production, then you can plan your inventory also. In this regard, sales and marketing plays a very, very vital role. So this is a chain process starting from the supply chain, raw material, planning, production, supply to the end user.
And so, what are the key factors when selecting suppliers and vendors to ensure a resilient steel supply chain?
Okay. Selecting a right vendor is very, very important, especially in the steel industries or in the MSME, because the quality of the steel produced very much depends on the raw material you get, raw material as well as the process. So you have to ensure that the raw material which comes to you should have as per your specification. Once you zero down on your specification, then you will have to see the track record of the various vendors. Once you see the track record, then you will come to know that this vendor is supplying to X, Y, Z, who are very good steel manufacturers. Then you will have to do the due diligence. Due diligence in a way, you visit your vendors, assess their capabilities, and if need be, do the inspection of their machinery as well as the finished product. Once you are assured about you also see the quality management system which they are having it. Get yourself convinced that whatever product comes into there, it will be as per your requirement. Another part which is also very important, that pricing. As I told you that even the fluctuation of $10 to $15. So you should look for a vendor who are giving you the right material at the right price. So here comes increasing the base of your source. I think these are the points which I think can play a very important role.
So, sir, that leads me to my next question, which is to do with strong relationships with supplier. Can you tell our attendees how can these strong relationships with suppliers be developed and maintained to avoid disruptions?
First of all, once you choose a right suppliers, you have to repose confidence on the supplier that you will be a regular buyer, not once or twice. That is very, very important. Another part is that you have to assure a volume in a way with a variation of say plus minus 10% or whatever. And the third part is that you get yourself associated with the supplier. Give some of the equity shares. Tell him to invest in your company so that whatever profit I'm earning, he's also having that benefit. He'll have a feeling that the raw material which he's supplying is supplying to his own company. He'll start considering that it is a capital. So association, making him a partner or giving some share, try to make him a joint venture. Maruti Suzuki has done this. If you know JBM, Jai Bharat Maruti, Suzuki Industries has share in that company. So this is one of the very important aspects of it, and people are going for it. Another thing is that assurance of order or requirement supply.
So, my next question to you, which I've often received from our attendees, is what are the advantages and potential risks of diversifying suppliers in the steel industry supply chain?
First of all, I'll tell you the disadvantage. Then I'll come to the advantage part. The disadvantage part is that the MSME, they get reward because of the lower price without realizing that the material is not of that right type. Basically, nowadays, everybody is looking for a price reduction or cost of product. So that's a very, very important point from disadvantage point of view, that if you are choosing a supplier, be rest assured that you are getting the right type of material. Second part is the supply. Supposingly, you have placed an order on a new supplier or a new vendor. You know their delivery schedule of old vendor, but you have not knowing their dispatch, supply duration and things like that. Since you got lured because of the price advantage and other things. So you have to ensure that the supply should be as per a mutually agreed days. Third thing is that you will have to also see the financial condition of that particular vendor. If you are going for a new, how is their financial condition? Supposingly, you got a very good deal, okay, and the supplier is saying that you make 60% of the payment to me, 40% once you receive the material. The moment you pay him 60% of the value of the material, you don't know whether he'll be using the 60% for your supply or for diverting it for some other purpose, things like that. So financial condition is also important. Next part is that you should know the certification, whether they are internationally certified. If not internationally, are they domestically or say certified by inspecting agency like BIS and other things. So these are very, very important from which advantage point of view. The advantage point of view. No, in case of your old vendors or who are with you in thick and thin, say a supplier for last 10 years, you know them thoroughly. You can even develop new products, taking the raw material from your assured vendor. It will also help you in developing new products. Plus, they are keeping a track of the market, how the market is behaving, whether there is a trend of that particular grade of steel and things like that. And for that particular grade of steel, what are the special type of raw materials you require? They are aware about it. The most important part is the trust. They trust you, you trust.
So, my next question to you is about logistical and transportation challenges that a lot of MSMEs face within the steel supply chain. Can you tell us how can this be effectively managed?
It is a challenge. It is a challenge. There is no doubt about it. But slowly, the government of India is looking into it. And there are a lot of improvement in that area. What it was 10 years back, now the things have improved. Most important part is the travel time, or the time taken from the vendor to your factory. We are putting a lot of effort, the government of India, for the infrastructure development, but still we have not come to the standard practice. Non-availability of lorries, trucks, little bit unorganized, then there are chances of theft, less weight, then no control. You don't know where the driver is or where the truck is. Although they have instituted some system, RFID and things like that, but still we are not at the advanced stage which Western countries and United States of America are having, where they are keeping a track of it. We are doing a lot of job on that. And another very important part is the freight. Supposing you are sending material from Bangalore to Mumbai. Okay. From Bangalore to Mumbai, the freight would be 5,000 rupees a ton. In steel, we talk about ton. So my product, the Bangalore manufacturer product, is not viable because of the freight charge. So this is very, very important, that we should have a system whereby people should not charge exorbitant freight. It's okay if you are in a state where there is a domestic demand, then okay, the freight will be within 1,000 rupees or 1,500. But if you are looking for a pan-India operation, plays very, very important role in freight. Railway is trying their level best for transporting the goods, and the freight charges is slightly lower in case of railways than the on the road. Another thing is that condition of road. All the roads are not highways or expressways. They have to pass through various villages and things like that. So these are the main problems for this logistic and transportation.
And sir, what role does demand forecasting play in addressing supply chain challenges, along with what methods can improve accuracy?
It very much, it starts from the budget. I'll tell you. Supposing the infrastructure sector in the year 23-24, there was an allocation for infrastructure project to the tune of 1 lakh crore. I think in the budget 24-25, it has gone to the level of 1,10,000 and 1,15,000 crore. The moment government gives a fund allocation of budget for the infrastructure sector, obviously, if you are going for an infrastructure project, steel would be required. Steel would be required, and you are aware about the various projects which government is going to take up, which was on the drawing stage, but now. So seeing the budget allocation and demand, another part is that, take the example of car, automobile. Last year, we sold 4 million cars. Okay. This year, we are thinking of another 15% increase. If it is another 15% increase, that means it will go to level of 4.6 or 4.7 million cars. We are going to touch 10 million cars per annum from 2030. So from that, you can plan it. What will be the steel requirement and how you will take it way forward for the steel sector. Then comes the construction sector. Government of India is putting too much stress on building houses for lower economic class as well as for other people. If you are making houses, obviously there will be a demand for steel. These are the ways and means where you can do a forecast, a demand planning, and how the things will take its shape.
Understood. Sir, moving forward, my next question to you is, how can production schedules be optimized to align with supply chain capabilities and minimize delays?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. Very good question. It is very important to have the production at the earliest with the raw material to supply chain management you have got. So, by way of knowing the arrival of your raw material, there can be two things. The first thing is that you will have an inventory pile up for 60 days. You are not worried. You know, if the trucks come today, it's okay. If it will come after a week, I have sufficient material. But you have to also think at what cost. Your capital is locked up for the 60-day inventory. Your inventory carrying cost, you are keeping somewhere in the godown. So obviously inventory carrying cost, and on top of it, the interest on the money, on the capital which you have employed on that crop. Now coming to a planning whereby I should keep my inventory only for a week. Okay. If I am planning for a week inventory, obviously it will start from the sales in the market. They have to do a demand forecast or a confirmed demand for next month or for the quarter. The moment salespeople get the demand and requirement of their plan, it can be passed on to the production planning control. The moment the production planning control sees the demand, then he'll plan the production. Once he plans the production, it goes to the production manager. Once the production manager fills the production date, things like that, then it goes for the raw material. Means during on that particular day on that particular week, you should have sufficient raw material to make your product as per the sales planning. So you see from the sales to the inventory and if you have the inventory in time, that means the supply chain plays an important role. So you see how the circle. By this way, you can plan it well in advance.
Noted, sir. So my next question to you is, what strategies can be implemented to manage lead times and ensure timely delivery of steel products?
What I have told you earlier also, to supply the material to your clients or a customer in time. Again, you have to go backward. That means a very, very meticulous planning. And in the planning, besides the production, you have to have a very good, so to say, alignment with quality department. Because once you produce the material, it goes for the quality check or the quality assurance. Once quality gives the stamp, then it's okay. Then comes the supply chain. You have produced the material, but the point is, it is lying in your godown. It has not gone to you. So here, the supply chain plays a very important role. And because of this, everything gets affected. During the COVID time, there was a total failure on the supply chain. The manufacturer, they are able to produce the material, but it is in their godown. It's not reaching the consumer. So by this way, you will have to plan in such a way. The last part, which is the supply chain part, you have to be very, very careful and very meticulous plan.
So now an important question which is very critical with regards to MSMEs is, how should sudden disruptions such as supply chain interruptions or which could happen due to natural disasters or geopolitical issues be handled?
Yes, how should I say? It is a problem. It is a real problem. And the most affected industry is MSME. Because we do not have that financial power whereby we can keep the inventory through the supply chain for 2 months, 3 months. Because we are operating at a very, very razor thin margin. A disruption of anything in that link gets affected. MSME, they are trying to do meticulous planning and things like that. But in spite of that, we are very much affected. We are affected. We are trying to minimize it. It is not possible to eliminate it. Because of the price vagaries, because of the interrupted supply of raw material, because of the transportation, logistics, supply chain, we are very, very prone to these things.
In terms of cost efficiency, could you elaborate and tell our audience how can cost efficiency be balanced with quality control when sourcing raw materials for steel production?
First of all, you'll have to see your capacity utilization. Whether you are operating at 80%, 90%, and things like that. Another part is that you should be sure about the product which you are manufacturing. You are confident that whatever comes out from there, it will be defect free. So you should aim that my quality assurance person does not find anything to see the material, because the material. So you'll have to start right from the raw material stage till the finished production. Quality check, the various precautions, the various control parameters, everything should be formalized and with a standard operating practice. Like my standard operating practice is to guide people. Oh, I should guide people. While guiding, I have a standard operating practice for quality control department, production department, and things like that. So each and every point should be in black and white. What I'm supposed to do, what he's supposed to do, what are his responsibilities, and in case of problem, what should be the remedial action and things like that. So standard operating practice should be right from the security guard of the organization till the truck driver of the lorries.
Well noted, sir. So moving on to our next question, which is to do with working capital management. Could you tell our attendees how can working capital management challenges within the steel supply chain be addressed?
As you know, the steel industry is a volume game. If it is a volume game, naturally the money is very high. We talk in terms of metric ton. And if you see the price of the raw materials, it is ranging from say $500 per metric ton to $1,000 per metric ton, $1,100 per metric. So there is a very big capital required. And on top of it, the cycle, the gestation cycle, right from ordering the raw material to the vendor, supply chain, storage, making the product, quality control, supply. So if you see, it is on an average not less than a month. That means your capital is employed. On top of it, you are extending credit to your client. Supposingly, you are extending credit to your client for 30 days. That means the bank will charge you interest for 60 days. Supposingly, I have taken 1 rupee on 1st of September and my 1 rupee 10 paisa is being realized when on 1st November. So there is the interest part. The interest part minimum will be 1.5% to 2% or 3% per month. So you can well imagine the kind of impact because of the capital employed in this person. And it is difficult, I am not saying impossible, but working capital management is very, very. Everybody is trying, some are successful, the success rate is maybe 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. But this type of vagaries on working capital was there, is there, and according to salary rate. You will have to adjust. You will have to adjust by means of increasing your production, reducing the rejection rate, shortening the period from rolling, say, from the finished product to the customer end, etc.
So now a couple of audience questions that we would like for you to address. The first one is, how can the performance of steel supply chains be measured and tracked to identify areas for improvement?
There are some areas where the supply chain can, the first part and the vendors whom you are getting the raw material. The first part is the pricing part. The second part is the credit terms, whether you are getting it in credit or advance payment. If you are getting it in credit, obviously they will not give you free of charge. So they will ask for certain interest on the credit. Then, what I mean to say, there would be a difference between advance payment and a credit. There will be a price. Another part is that look for sourcing nearby. But in this case also, supposingly you have put up a plant and where there is no development to that extent, maybe you will have to source it from far-flung areas. But for new projects, I would urge on the various prospective MSME owners to put up their plant nearby the sources where you can get the raw materials anytime. That will minimize this type of vagaries.
Can you share some case studies or examples with us, sir, in terms of successful supply chain strategies in the steel sector?
Yeah, I can cite two examples. Yes. There were, in our company, we use coal. And we pulverize the coal, make it a powder in the powder form, and then we are lighting the furnace with the coal. We have a coal-fired furnace. Okay. Our coal consumption is more than 100 kg or say 125 kg per metric ton of steel rolled out. Okay. We had two suppliers of coal whom we were trusting. We were thinking that whatever price he quotes, he is not going to charge undue advantage. But when I did some work on seeing the vendors, I thought, why not we should have 3-4 more vendors. People in my company say that maybe these 3-4 vendors will not meet your specification, like calorific value, carbon content, and things like that. I said, let us try. We had a full-fledged technical discussion covering all aspects. Mostly our coal is imported. Mostly. We studied the specification of all the 4 vendors. We took guarantee on the specification with a clause that if the code does not meet the specification, in that case, we shall return you back the whole consignment. So there was an agreement. Initially, we were making advance payment. With these 3-4 vendors, we said that, look, we are not going to make the payment advance. It has to be 30 days credit. Next part came the price. Supposedly, the price was say 115 rupees, the present buying price. So to test the water, we said, look, we would like to have coal from you at a price of 100 rupees a kg. They were astonished. How come the price is 150, 140, and 30, things like that? So after a lot of persuasion, we came to a conclusion that, okay, they will give us coal at a price of 110 rupees a kg with 30 days credit. Okay. We said, hold. At the same time, we didn't want to lose our old vendor. So what we did to the old vendors, we told them that, look, 150 is not a realistic price. It has to be 90 rupees a kg. And you are taking advance payment first. Our company's finance position does not allow you to give you advance payment. So it has to be 30 days credit. You know, how can you do it? You know how they said. I said, this is my offer. If you know, take your own time and let us know. Then finally, what happened? She also agreed for 110 rupees a kg with 30 days credit. And what we did, we distributed 50% from the old vendor, 50% from the new vendor. Because we didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket with the new. And company saves a lot.
So my last question to you is, how can businesses prepare for future supply chain challenges considering trends such as digital transformation and global market shifts?
I don't know, in case of steel, the digital era will be of any help for doing digital marketing. But as far as supply chain is concerned, artificial intelligence is going to play a very big role. Not only for supply chain, right from supply chain to the transportation, to upkeep of the inventory, rolling, everything will be through artificial intelligence. And we are very hopeful that with the advent of artificial intelligence, we'll be able to achieve our goal. You know much better about artificial intelligence than me. So you can decide. I have told you, there are so many things, points, discussion, agreement, disagreement, but artificial intelligence is going to change your everything. Your way of life, your action, everything.
That was my last question for today's episode, sir. While conversing with you, we've addressed some of the audience questions that we've received. However, if the attendees have any further questions that haven't been answered, please write them down in the Q&A section and we will respond to you as soon as possible. With that, we come to the end of today's episode, and I would like to extend a heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for taking time out and sharing your detailed insights and strategies to overcome steel supply chain challenges with our audience. It feels wonderful to have seasoned professionals like you in our MSME Masterclass. Thank you so much, sir.
I'm thankful to you. I have tried to cover all the topics to best of my ability. That's all.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. And this one is for our attendees. If you'd like to view any of our episodes, including the current one, please go on YouTube and type GSW1 MSME. Do subscribe to our channel to get updates on the latest masterclass videos. Thank you once again, sir. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Same here.